for watching. I'm Prerna Agarwal, Technical Product Owner for the Guardian. Today we'll be giving you Guardian update of Sprint 67 that lasted from June 10 to June 21st. So just a quick overview of the agenda. We'll be looking at the roadmap. We'll also be looking at the issues that we tackled in Sprint 67. Then we'll be giving you a short demo on Sprint 67. Then we'll be also looking ahead of the week of June 24th, which is Sprint 68. We'll also be talking about the issues that we'll be tackling in Sprint 68. We'll be talking about the upcoming releases. We'll be also giving you some of the ways that you can either submit bugs or policy requests through various different channels. So just a quick overview of the Guardian roadmap. We are working on the mass comparison on cook stove methodologies for the webinar. We are also working on the development of VMR 0006, energy efficiency and fuel switch measures. We are working on the index for API. We are also working on the development of the methodology. We are also working on the auto testing community submissions. Talking about Sprint 67, so in Sprint 67, we committed to 60 story points and we delivered 41 story points, which includes 3296, which is correction of all the methodologies we new did. 282, development of AMS 1F, renewable electricity generation for captive use and mini grid. We also closed 2905, which is a Hedera interaction resilience module. We also worked on some other CDM policies, which is AMS 1A and ACM 0018. Now let's look at Sprint 67 demo. So the first ticket, what we'll be looking at is 2905, which is Hedera interaction resilience module. In Hedera, unlike in some other ecosystems, transactions accepted by the blockchain are not guaranteed to succeed, and there is no automatic failure recovery path. That is no guaranteed rollback of transaction block, which one does not succeed. Therefore, Hedera client applications can end up in situations where out of 5 consecutive actions, 1, 3, and 5 succeeded, 2 failed, and 4 really succeeded. And other various permutations of such, the burden of verifying the status of transactions and dealing with the failure, recovery, rollback issues in non-client applications. So in order to solve this, what we have done is, this is our new Guardian version, which is the main Guardian version. Now we have added a new option as worker task right above the notifications in the side menu. So when you click on this, you now will be able to see all the asynchronous transaction statuses happening in the Guardian and interaction with the Hedera. So now, as you can see, whenever you try to perform any operation with an interaction with Hedera, you should be now able to see that task particular when it is created, when it was started, and what was the type of that particular task happening, and whether it is complete or whether it is in queue or if it is failed. So you will have different statuses in the status column. And if there is any failure in the status column, you would now be able to restart and retry that again just to make sure that the transactions are not in queue and completed successfully and transacted. So this is a new feature what we have added in order to handle the transactions and interactions through Hedera. To get more information, what we have done, and we have also updated our documentation. When you go to docs.hedera.com/guardian, and when you get there under standard registry, we have added an asynchronous task status, where you would now be able to see a detailed information about what each of the status looks like and what are the worker tasks. For example, in queue, it means that for tasks which are queued, pending activation, processing is which are in progress, complete is which have completed successfully, and error, which will also show you the reason of why that error is happening. And then you can also able to retry or delete that particular task in order to make the execution successful. As you can see, as I mentioned, that you have 2 buttons now, which is one is a reset and one is to delete it. So if you just click on the arrow, you can retry this particular error. If you click on minus, which is nothing but deletion, you can just delete that particular task and see if everything works good. So if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would be happy to give you more information about the worker tasks page, which we have added in Guardian. Next ticket, what we'll be looking at is 2884, which is development of AMS 1A. The primary objective of AMS 1A is to provide a structured and standardized approach for small-scale renewable electricity generation projects by the user. It aims to facilitate the displacement of GH-intensive non-renewable electricity applications by enabling the production of electricity using various renewable energy technologies. The scope of this policy includes renewable electricity generation units like solar, photovoltaic, hydro, wind, and renewable biomass that supply electricity to individual households, users, or groups of household users. It is applicable to various situations, including new installations or replacements of existing on-site fossil fuel fired generation, ensuring versatility and adaptability to different project needs and conditions. So in order to solve this, we have actually developed AMS 1A policy. So when you go to our GitHub repo, which is at github.com/hashgraph/guardian, and when you get there, click on methodology library folder. Underneath that, you have a CDM folder. In that, you can actually click on CDM AMS 1A. In that, you will have a different files included. One is a schema design of this particular policy. Then we have also added a new Excel file which will have a project sample data. Then you will also have a .policy file which you can just download it on your local system and import it on Guardian. And then you can look and play around to dry run mode, or you can publish AMS1A policy on Hedera testnet or mainnet. In addition to that, we have also added a README file, which have a detailed documentation with the step-by-step and also all the tools referencing to this particular methodology. You have a policy workflow, and you also have a step-by-step process with all the screenshots required in order to execute the policy. Moreover, we have also added our updated documentation, which is at docs.hedera.com/guardian. And when you get there under demo guide, you would be able to see AMS1A policy documentation, which also have a step-by-step process of how to execute this policy. So the next ticket, what we'll be looking at is development of AMS1F, renewable electricity generation for captive use and mini grid. So the primary objective of this policy is to provide a structured approach for renewable electricity generation for captive use. This policy comprises renewable energy generation units such as photovoltaic, hydro, tidal wave, wind, geothermal, and renewable biomass that supply electricity to users. So in order to solve this, what we have done is we have again developed this policy. So when you go to our GitHub repo and under CDM, when you click on AMS1F under the list, now you should still be able to see 4 policies, 4 files underneath this folder. One is the schema file, which is schema design.xl. Then you also have an Excel with the sample data. Then you have a .policy file, which you can just import and download it and import it into your Guardian to execute that policy in dry run or publish it. And in addition to that, you also have a README file where you have a step-by-step process and all the methodologies tools referencing to this particular methodology and a workflow diagrams underneath that. So the last ticket, what we'll be looking at is A2879, which is development of ACM 0018, which is electricity generation from biomass in power-only plants. The primary objective of this policy is to provide a structured approach for electricity generation from biomass in power-only plants. This policy applies to project activities that generate power using biomass as fuel, optionally combining with solar thermal power generation. The project may be greenfield, capacity expansion, or fuel switch projects. In order to close this ticket, what we have done is we have developed this policy and added it into our GitHub repo. So when you go to our GitHub repo under CDM folder, you should now be able to see an ACM 0018 folder where you will have 4 types of files. One is the sample data where you will have a schema design, but will have a sample data. You also have a schema design file where you will just see the schema design without any data. Then you have a .policy file, which you can just download it from this GitHub repo and import it on Guardian to execute that particular policy. In addition to that, we have also added our README where you will see a detailed documentation of the use of the policy, the workflow, and the tools referenced in this particular policy, and also a step-by-step process of this particular policy. We also have an IPFS timestamp added of this policy of the mainnet of the testnet. So you can just use this to import this policy. So that was a quick demo on Sprint 67. So looking ahead of a week of June 28th, which is June 24th, which is Sprint 68. Currently, we are committing to 41 story points, which includes some of the optimization, which is 3724. We are also working on the VMR 0006 policy, which is energy efficiency and fuel switch measures in thermal applications. We are also working on the further evolution of policy comparison, which is 2706, and also working on one of the CDM policy, which is AMS1C. Talking about the releases, our last release was on Friday, May 31st, 2024. Our next release will be on Friday, June 28th, 2024. So there are multiple ways to reach out to us. You can reach out to us on GitHub by submit policy request or enhancements, or if you find some bugs, please go ahead and submit those bugs with us so that we can get a team on it. Also, if you haven't joined our Discord, come and join our conversation at hedera.com/Discord. And when you get there, search for sustainability channel. Or you can feel free to reach out to us directly if you have any policy requests by emailing us at info@envisionblockchain.com or to our website, which is www.envisionblockchain.com. Thank you. Have a great day.